This conference will now be recorded.
Hello everyone, welcome to the day 2 session on R programming for beginners. Our day 2 learning objectives are indexing and slicing data frames, create matrices and how to work on data frames, operations on matrices and data frames, and merging and importing data. The main aim of manipulations on data frames is if you have a data set, all the data which you have collected may not have uh, all the fields are completely filled. Say for example, you are collecting data from a website and you are asking the feedback of customers. So when they are giving the feedback, they may not give you all the complete details. Say for example, you want to say that share your phone number. The customer may not be willing to share his phone number, and he will leave the that particular column as empty. Now when you collect this kind of data and you want to go for estimating what kind of requirements that a particular customer wants, but you are having some lapses in the data which are empty columns, or some data is missing. So in order to avoid that, we need to process your data set. You want to delete some rows and you want to add some rows or columns. So in order to do that, we need to work on your data set. So that's why the name itself, it is saying indexing and slicing data frames. Slicing means you are cutting down some of the rows if you don't want, or you are adding some columns like that. So that is the main aim of this operations on your data frames. See, once again, I'm moving a little bit back and continuing with that. So already I have provided this data set cricketdata.csv in your WhatsApp group. Download that and you can use that data set to verify the commands which I am going to explain it to you. Say, for example, you want to read a data set into your R environment. What you have to do is you should use the command read.csv. So this is the one we want to use it. Just I am a little bit zooming so that you can able to see clearly read.csv. So this is the syntax we have to use. So this read.csv is the particular command in this particular package. Suppose you have used another package, then the commands will change. So the default syntax is read.csv, and in your parentheses you have to use quotes to which file you want to read. And another precaution you have to take while importing data into your R environment is make sure that your working directory is this in which you are having this particular file. So suppose cricket.data.csv is present in this particular working directory. Otherwise, it becomes difficult to read this particular file. So make sure that when you are reading a particular file, your working directory must be set to that particular folder. Now, after reading this data set, if you want to see your data frame or data set, you have to use the command view data frame. So please remember that view V is capital. If you have written a small letter, your view command will not be executed. So your R is case sensitive. So you have to use a particular syntax only. View V is capital. Now if you execute this particular command program, so it will display what is the data frame. So we can able to see clearly what are the contents of this particular data frame. So this data frame consists of 6 rows and around 6 columns. So look at this data frame clearly so that we can able to process or manipulate the data present in this particular data frame. So it is having the header names, Y as a year, and played, number of matches played as played, won, the number of matches won, lost, the number of matches lost, and we have calculated a victory. What is the victory percentage? Instead of percentage, we have calculated number of matches won by your number of matches played. So the victory column is placed here. Now we are having index column here. This is your index 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This index is provided by the R itself. So it is automatically generated. This is your this first row is called as header for your data frame. Now, if I want to display the first row or any row, if I want to display, we have to use square brackets. So if I want to see the third row of your data frame, then we have to write data frame name, square brackets, and we have to write which row you want to see, row number, and you have to put comma, and you can leave the other one. So the other one, the R uses default is column process. Column processing is, if I write df3, it will display the column 3 instead of row. So you have to make sure that when you want to display the row which you want, you have to write that row number, comma, then it will display that particular row. So let us see, the third row is Azar, year played 2000, played 47, 1, 14, like this. You can see the data in your console here, right? Is it clear? Right. Now we will go to next command. So if I want to, as I said before, if I want to display only column data, then df of 3 is enough. If you put comma, it will meaning that it will display the row value, not column value. Suppose if you want a particular element in your data frame, then or if you want to display two rows or two columns, then how to display them? So suppose if I want to display third and fourth rows, then I have to write df. C stands for create or concatenate. Because I want more than one row to be displayed, I have to concatenate both rows for display. So C 3 comma 4, and again we are putting here a comma indicating that we want to display row, not column. So you can see in the console, I am zooming in so that you can see what is the result. So this is your df C 3 comma 4, then it will display third row and fourth row. Right. Next. Now, if I want to filter it out, I want only some rows to be displayed. I want a particular value consisting of a particular value to be displayed. Then what is the command I have to use? df, if I want some logical operations to be done on your data set, then what we have to write is df dollar. See, once again, go back to your data set. So in the data set, 47 number of matches played, 47 for Azar and 47 for Sunny. Right. Remember this particular column values. The column name is played. So if I want to display and a df dollar sign indicates that you want to get a particular column header. So df dollar played. So if df dollar column played, if you have written, the r knows that you are talking about the column played. Now equal to 47, meaning that I want to get the values whose in the column whose values are equal to 47. Now see what it is displayed. So as you requested the R to display the values which are equal, played matches equal to 47. So the played matches equal to 47, there are two rows are present. Those two rows will be displayed in the console. Is it clear for you? Just write in the chat box so that I can know I can continue with that. Students, anyone please, is it clear for you? You can unmute your mic and give the feedback.
Yeah, it is. It is okay.
Okay. Now
We received
go
yes.
to the
Okay, very good.
oh, okay, sir. Now continue this. Now see here. df of 1, if I written df of 1, it will display the column 1 data frame. You can see in the, I will zoom in, see. df of 1, if I have written, it will display the names column. Now, as I said before, the R allows you to run instruction by instruction by using the command run here. If I press source command here, it will run the total program instead of a particular instruction. Suppose if you are run the program up to this point, but you want to run the remaining two instructions, then simply select these two instructions and use run. Then automatically your R will know that you are continuing the process, and it will display the remaining two instructions and it will process it. So if I want to display the columns or rows by name, you can give the name instead of numbers. See, previously we have displayed all these rows or columns by using indexing. You are processing that index, third column, fourth column. By indexing, you are referring to the column numbers. Now, if I want to display these data frames using column names or header names, say for example, if I want to display only names column, so you have to write df square brackets, you have to use column names. Okay, then it will display that particular column. By name, we are recalling the data frame. Similarly, if I want to display more than one value or one header, then you have to concatenate. Use C as concatenation or create. So C in brackets, names, played, one. Then it will display the three columns. So I will zoom in once again to show you the result. See, if I go for df C concatenate names played one, then it will display names column, played column, and one column. Now, see in this particular example, displayed a error. Can you identify where is the error? Right. So when you are referring to the column, the R process the column as it is. Suppose if you have given a comma is refers to saying that your R has to display a row, but your header names are column names. So when you want to display that, it will display, your R will display a value saying that NA, the value is not available. So when see, once again I am going back to the data frame. So this is your data frame. The header names are given as names Y played one lost victory, but the row indexing is given as 1 2 3 4 5 6. Suppose if I want to display it by name, it automatically says that it is taking as a column name. So if I say df c of names comma y, automatically it will display. But if you put a comma, meaning that you want to display by row, but there is no row name saying that names equal to Azar like this. So it will defaultly it will display as NA, not available. Data is not available. So you should be careful when you want to display using names. See here, see names comma played comma one. I'm not putting any comma here, meaning that default it is column indexing. Now we can use logical operations to create a subset of your data. See, if I want to get a subset of your data frame in such a way that victory value is greater than zero point 0.3, and I want to choose only names column, played column, one column, and I want to omit some columns, then how to do that? So in order to create a slicing of your data frame, the command which you want to use is subset. So I am zooming in so that you can see that. See, so from read.csv, that is cricket data.csv data frame, I am naming it that particular data frame as df. So in this from this df, I want to create a subset of data frame. So how to create that? So I am naming the subset as subdf. It is assigned to subset of, this is the syntax, subset of df. Df is the data frame which we want to process. Please give that comma. So I am giving a logical condition here. What is that logical condition is, I want all the data where your victory value is greater than 0.3. Victory value is greater than 0.3. And I want to display only the columns which I have chosen here. So select is equal to, I am selecting the columns header names which I want to display, but these values must be greater than 0.3 in the victory column. So select is equal to C names played 1 victory. So let's go back to the data frame itself, so that once again we will verify that. See, this is your data frame. So in our data frame, the total columns are 6 columns, right? So in these 6 columns, we don't want to display this last column. The remaining columns we want to present in the subset data frame, and we have put some condition. What is that condition is, the number of victories must be greater than 0.3. So see here, this particular row is having a victory of 0.29, or it is having 0.19. So this kind of rows we don't want. We want it should be greater than 0.3. So when you want like that, so we have to write subset df victory greater than 0.3, select whatever the columns you want. And if we want to see this sub data frame, you can use the command view sub data frame. Okay, view command, when you use view command, it will display the data set in the console here. Suppose you want to print out what are the contents of this data frame, you can use the command print sub data frame like this. So when it prints, see the answer here for this particular example. The answer is names played 1 victory. This is your header. Defaultly it will display. Now it displayed only 4 header strings, but last that one is not displayed because I have selected only these 4, and it displayed 1 to 6 indexed rows because they satisfy the logical operation, that is victory is greater than 0.3. Right? I think it is clear for you to how to create a subset, and you can create that subset based on some conditional data or some conditions, and you can choose the number of columns or header values you want to display. Now let's go to the next one. Now see, again this example I have taken to explain you, can we go for more than one condition? So in this particular case, I have taken df same data set. Now the condition C, victory is greater than 0.3, and you want to display played is also greater than or equal to 45. The selection of rows is same selection of rows I have columns I have taken, names played 1 victory, but the extra condition which we have placed here is played value must be greater than or equal to 45. So if you look at the answer for this, so the command which we want to use is and. If I go for 2 conditions, we should use AND. Suppose if you go for OR condition, all logical operations can be applied for filtering your subset data frame. If I want OR, we can go for OR. So please remember that here I am using AND. Sometimes in your when you are working on online compilers, according to the package, some packages will refer to the condition AND condition as using two AND symbols, or they can be displayed by using a bracket. You have to write in victory greater than 0.3 comma played greater than or equal to 45 in parenthesis for AND condition. So it depends on the what kind of package we have installed in on your basic R. So please be sure that what is the which version of R you are compiling when you are using mobile compilers or you are using your online compilers. Now, if you see the answer for this, when you put another condition on the data frame to generate your subset data, I'm zooming in. See what is the answer it has given. So it displayed the number of columns 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and whose values are greater than, victory values are greater than 0.3. And it satisfies the next condition also. Sorry, I have. See, another important operation which we want to perform on the data set is transpose. Say when you are working with Excel data, you have created a Excel data, rows and columns, but sometimes what you want is names are in column wise you have given, but you want to put the names on the left side and you want to put the values on the right side. So when you want like that, you have to perform a simple transformation. Rows and columns should be exchanged in your Excel file. So in our Excel file also, you can do that by using a operation called as a transpose. Here also we can able to perform that same operation where columns and rows are exchanged by using a simple command called as T. So if you written T of df indicates that transpose the data and display the data. See, when you perform that, what is the output? So initially you are having column names as names y played one lost victory. Now it is displayed the column headings as Mahi, Sorrow, Azar. Okay, so transpose function can be done on in your particular data set by using command T. No need to write transpose also. It is very simple. Write T, it will transpose the data frame. So this is your data frame now. See, they are exchanged. Names y played one lost come to this row names and column names, because in the previous case the row names are indexed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now when you transpose it, the R automatically name them as vertical 1, vertical 2, vertical 3, vertical 4, like this. Now let's move to working with matrices and creating data frames with matrices. So we can create data frames in two ways. Either we can create by using a C command. C is concatenate or create, and we can use the command data.frame. And the matrices also can be created by using the command C of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 if you give it, and concatenate using data.frame, and we can able to create a matrix. So we will see how to create matrix and data frames. Now again, I am taking the same example, cricket data.csv. Now if I want to create a subset or a sub data frame by using the column numbers. So df from the data set df, that is cricket data, select 1, 2, 3 rows, select 1, 2, 3 rows. So in order to select 1, 2, 3 rows, we are giving the command 1 colon 3. That means it will select first 3 rows. And we want to select the column names played 1 last. So because you want more than one column, so you have to, what you have to do, you have to place the operator, concatenate operator C. Now it will display first three rows and first three columns. This is another way of creating sub data set. See, can I visit? I will visit to the previous sub data set creation. So in this previous, I am using specifically to get a subset of data frame. I'm using the command subset. So in this particular example, simply we have written from the data frame, get these values, first three rows, first three columns. Like this also we can create sub data set. There are many ways to produce the same result. Now, if I want to convert a data frame into matrix, so matrix consists of numerical values. Data frame consists of objects. See in the environment window, so look at this particular one. So data frame. So what it is showing, 6 objects and 6 variables. You are having 6 objects like 1 2 3 rows and 6 variables, 6 columns you are having. So it will R will refer to the contents of data frame as objects and variables. Now if I want to convert this sub data frame, because I have chosen played one last, not a string column we have not taken, names of the teams are played we have not taken, because I want to create a matrix. A matrix should be a numerical value. So what we have done is we have chosen only played one lost, which consists of numerical values. Now use the command as dot matrix to convert this data frame into matrix. So and I have assigned this particular matrix to a variable called as A. Now if I want to display that matrix, I can display that matrix by using command print A. So you can see here. Okay, what is the A now? See here the difference between sub data frame. Sub data frame indicates that 3 objects, 3 variables, right? Now when I convert this data frame into matrix, now it is the matrix is stored in the variable A. Now see the variable A, in our A it is displayed as int. All the values are integer values, and we are having 3 rows, 3 columns, and the values are displayed here: 45, 49, 47, 22, 21. See in our console window, I am zooming in. See the difference. See, when you want to display the data frame is displayed as played one lost. The header names are displayed. When you want to see the data frame, the R will display header names indicating that it is a data frame. But when you are displaying a matrix, it will show column numbers as well as your row numbers. See, when you display this particular matrix, it is showing comma 1, indicating that this is first column, this is second column, this is third column. But here data frame, it display header name. So you can easily distinguish whether you are processing a matrix or you are processing a data frame by looking at the result. Now suppose you want to create a matrix of 3 by 3 or any dimension if you want to create by using a vector, right? Suppose you define a vector B. B is defined as C of 1 2 3 4 5 6 up to 9. So I have chosen a vector whose values having a values 9 values. Now from this vector I want to produce a 3 by 3 matrix. How to produce a 3 by 3 matrix? So use the command matrix, which vector you want to convert. That name of that vector is B. So I put B, comma, how many number of rows or how many number of columns you want. Number of rows is equal to 3, number of columns is equal to 3. So how do you want to display this particular matrix? Whether you want to create this matrix by column wise or row wise, how to read the elements of this particular vector to create your matrix. So I want to create this particular matrix by reading the values by row. So I have to write specifically by row is equal to true. True must be capital. In capital letters you have to write true. So if you write like this, it will create the matrix by reading the elements row wise. Okay, so when you display the matrix D, I have assigned this particular converted matrix or vector as D. So when it is displayed, it will read the values 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. First three values as first row, second next three values as next row. Now if I want to create a matrix by reading the elements of the vector column wise, then how to do that? See, matrix B comma number of rows is equal to 3, number of columns is equal to 3. So only thing you have to write is no need to write by row is equal to true. So as I said before, R always defaultly consider that your data frame or matrix column wise it will read. So no need to mention your by column, no need to write that. So automatically it will process by column wise. So what it has done, it has taken the first three elements and put these first three elements as a first column of your matrix. So I am zooming in to show the result. See here, it will display the first three values as first column. Next three values it has arranged into second column, and the third 786. So this is the difference you will get when you want to convert a vector into a matrix. You have to specify how many number of rows you want, how many number of columns you want, whether you want to create that one by row or by column. So converting a data from a vector into matrix, this is the procedure. Now we will move to another example, right? See, we can able to manipulate your matrices. So I think most of you are familiar with the MATLAB. So matrix laboratory, in your matrix laboratory or MATLAB also, it will always considers column wise. Here also R is also considers the data column wise only. You want to perform several operations on your matrix, you can easily perform those operations in R also. Say I am choosing the matrix A and B. Matrix A is created taking the data frame df1. Again the same example, but I have renamed it as a df1. So A is created by rows, by row wise, and B is created column wise. You can see that how the values will change. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 is the first case. In the second case it will be 1 4 6, the first row, right? So now another data frame which I have chosen is the vector C 101 010 001. Okay, so I want to create an identity matrix by using this particular vector. Now if I want to create a identity matrix by using this particular vector C101 like this, again the command is very simple. I already that matrix df number of rows is equal to 3, number of column equal to 3 by row. Why I want to go for by row? Because 101 010 001 are the values for your identity matrix. So I have to write by row is equal to true, then it will form the identity matrix I. From this vector you have converted this vector into a matrix. Now you want to perform the operations on these matrices. So A minus B, you will get the answer A plus B like this. Multiplication, if I want to multiply two matrices element wise, then you have to write A star I. So in our MATLAB, if I want to go for element wise multiplication, the dot command has to be placed, a dot star b we have to write. But in your R, it default it will take that when you are multiplying two matrices, it will multiply element wise only. So a star I, if you write, it indicates that you are multiplying element wise multiplication. So instead of that, if I want to multiply one column and row of your matrices, like a general matrix multiplication procedure, then you have to specifically write a percentage. I will zoom in so that you can see. Oh, sorry. See this? See, a percentage symbol star percentage I. So this will perform actual matrix multiplication. If I want to calculate determinant of A, then the syntax that we want to use is det of A. And you can, if you simply, I have assigned the det of A to the variable dk. So if you write dk, it will display that particular one. And if I want to have inverse of A, you know, there is some little bit procedure for calculating inverse of a matrix. So what is the thing you have to do is first calculate, you have to use another command called as solve. Solve d of k will give you inverse of your matrix. Okay, so most of the cases you are using determinant. So det of A is the syntax, and if you want inverse, we will go for solve command. Now we can do some other operations on your matrices. You want to calculate sum of rows, sum of columns, all those things can be done here. So simply if you use the command row sums, it will calculate the summation of rows. If you go for column summation, call sums. See, please remember that your R is case sensitive. Row S is capital, column S is capital. So make sure that you have, when you are typing the commands, they are case sensitive, and you have to maintain that structure. Now it has calculated print. Suppose you want to have summation of the total matrix, sum of A. So sum of A can be written here, and the row sums, it will calculate the summation of rows and columns. So like this. Okay. You can try all these examples, so don't worry. If you can practically verify where how these particular operations are working by using your compilers or your R program. Right. Now suppose you have created a matrix having 3 columns, 3 rows. Suppose if I want to add another row, or if I want to add another column to the matrix, how can we do that? Take a previous example only, the vector C101 010 Okay, so now if you convert this into 3 by 3 matrix, I'm going to the previous slide. So the previous matrix looks like this: 101 010 It is not an identity matrix, right? But for example, I have chosen this particular vector. Now I 3 by 3. Now if I want to add the matrices A and B and create a new matrix. So A matrix, see A matrix, how I created that A matrix, and R bind. R bind says that we want to bind different vectors as row wise. cbind says that if I want to create a matrix by combining or concatenating vectors column wise. So suppose A is, this is the value we are displaying 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So the first A matrix is created by concatenating the vectors row wise, and B is created by concatenating vectors column wise. So this the matrix B is like this: 147, 258, 368. Now when you bind them, R bind A comma B, if you have written this command, what it will do, it will arrange A matrix above and arrange B matrix below the A matrix, row wise concatenation. See, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 147 258 369. Like that, if I want to combine them, these two matrix elements column wise, then you have to use the command cbind A comma B. So if I write C, meaning that A is B values are placed adjacent to A values. Say A 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9, and the B matrix is placed here 147 258 369. Okay, so like this we can add two matrices, not addition, we want to rearrange the matrix. So matrix elements can be rearranged, or you can add rows to the column or columns by using the command rbind or cbind. Right, and another important syntax which we want to use with respect to matrices is a command called as summary. So as I said before, R is a software package which is designed for statistics. Okay, so in general, from a data, most of the cases we are using numerical data, say banking sector or financial sector, the data sets are numerical data sets. So on these data sets, from these data sets, we want to obtain some statistical values like mean, median, like that we want to get it. So that can be done with a single command called as summary of data frame. If you have written that, what it will do, it will display the summary of your data frame by calculating the general statistical values. Say if I want to calculate, I am zooming in, what summary command it will do. So summary command, it will calculate the first column, what is the minimum value, what is the maximum value, what is the median value. So played if you take it, minimum value is 25, first quarter value is 41.25, median value is 46, mean value of the column is 42.17. So like that, when you use a summary will display the statistics of a particular columns which are present in your data frame. So the next command we want to see is type. Type of, if you have written type of, what it will show you is, it will show you the nature of your particular data frame. So type of df you have written, it will display that it is a list. So data frame is nothing but list of your objects. Now suppose you have taken a big data set. Say for example, you want to process COVID-19 data. You imported this COVID-19 data into R by using import data set. But you don't know how many columns are present, how many rows are present. So when you import that data in by using import data set, it immediately displays what are the variables of that particular data set in your workspace. Here it will display 6 objects, 6 variables like this. But you want to know what are the header names, or what is the what are the last rows, or what are the first rows of your data set. You want to look at those values only. Then the provision for this in your R is head of data frame. If you are written head df, then it will display the header names. So in your data set, the header names are names, y, played, won, lost, victory. These are the header names. So head of df, if you have written, it will display only names, y, played, won, lost, victory. These names it will display. So along with the header, if I want to display the first two rows of your data set, then you have to write head df comma 2. So when you write head df comma 2, what it will display is the header names along with the first two rows, head df comma 2. Similarly, if I want the last two rows along with your header names, then the command which you want to use, tail df comma 2. So tail, if you written that, it will process like this. It will display the header name and it will give you last two rows of your data frame. Okay, and if I want to see what are the different variable or type of variables are present in your data frame, then you have to use the command str. It will display whether the variables are type character, whether they are numerical, whether they are integer values. So use the command str for this purpose. Now, another syntax which I will generally prefer for your writing a program is file.choose. See, yesterday you are imported data set by using import data set or by using the command read.csv. So when you want to import that data frame using read.csv, I need to give file path c colon slash slash slash. I have to give that. Say for example, I will show it to you. See, for example, in R, if I want to import data sets, here the data set in my current directory is cricket.data.csv is present. If I want to import this data set, see, say df is the name I want to give to the data set. I want to read this particular data set, CSV, and I need to give path. So if I want to give this path, what I have to do? So I have to know what is the path of that one. So I have stored that particular data set in R demo folder. In that subfolder is indexing and slicing data frames. So in that I'm having this particular data set, right? This one I want to read. So what I have to do? I have to read the path and I need to paste that path here in, right, and it will read your data frame view df. Now I want to run this program. See, it displayed error c colon backslash u. Why it is displayed like that is, this particular syntax works better for previous versions, but for latest version it will confuse this backslash and front slash with other commands, because they are used for a special purpose called as pipe operator. As I shown previously, if I want to calculate a matrix multiplication, what we are doing, a percentage star percentage we are using like that. For pipe operator we are using some different syntax. So here when you if you want to avoid this kind of error, what I have to do is I need to place another slash. This is the difference of reading your file path in this particular case. Now this is the path and your file name you have to give. To give your file name, that is cricket data.csv. Run this, it will show the data frame, right? So what is the difficulty present here? So if I want to read a file every time I need to go and see the path and paste the path in our read.csv command. So that may be little bit inconvenience for you. So what I have to do, if I want to choose in a interactive way, then what you have to do? You have to write command df1. I am giving the name of that read.csv. Now file choose file.choose and dot. Okay. Now if you run this, so because it is I want to run this only command run. Sorry. Now what it will do? It will pop up a window to select your data file which you want to read. So that is the advantage of using file choose. Now I am choosing cricket data.csv. Not it will open. That particular data set will be open. Suppose if I am running this particular instruction, run once again. Suppose if I want to choose a different data set, I can choose different data set, open. Okay, now df1 values are changed. Now see what is the contents of this particular data frame. See, the data is different because I have chosen different file. So when you want to write a program in an interactive way and you want to choose every time a different file to execute a different data set, you want to use it, then go for this particular command, file choose command, right? Now if I want to merge two data frames, right, how to merge two data frames is by using a command called as merge. If you write, if you want to, there are two files here we have chosen. I'm using file.choose for convenience. So df read.csv file choose. First time when it runs, if I choose cricket data.csv, that df data frame is created with that file. And the second time I am naming the data frame as df1. Now I am writing again the file choose command. If I choose a different say cricket data set 2, if I have chosen, that df1 is created with that data set, right? So now I want to merge these two in such a way that I will create a new kind of data set. Say for example, why I require merging of two data sets is, suppose you have collected data, say COVID-19 data from one hospital, X hospital, and same type of data you have collected from Y hospital. Now you want, but the column names are changed. Say different column names you are using, or different symptoms you want to collect from other hospitals. But when you want to combine these two data sets, so when you want to do that, you can use this particular command, merge command. New data frame is assigned as merge df and d1 by names. So you want to combine them by using the header names. So here, see, I am zooming in once again. So this is your output. Okay, so then according to names, Y played, one lost. But in your second data frame, we are having drawn defeat format. The first data frame consists of names, same names you are having. So any one column should be same when you want to merge the data. The column which is same, by that column you want to combine your data set. So names are same in both data sets, but the data is different. So names are same. Y is year played, here played, one lost, victory. In this particular case, drawn defeat format. So by names we are adding these two data frames. So merge command, when you use it, so by names, the name column will be same, but these two data columns are combined together. That is the use of your merge command. So you want to merge two data sets, you can do that. Okay. As I already explained how to read data set from different file formats. Let us see some other examples. Suppose you want to read XML file. This is another type of file, or test file, or Excel file. Excel file you can use import data set. Test also you can use import data set. Suppose if I want to read XML type of file, how to read that? So in order to read that, you need a special package for it. I need to download a particular package called as XML package. So library XML. So before library XML, what is this command will give you is whether XML uh, package is present in your R or not. It will give that. See, I'm going to the R. If I return library XML. Okay, so it is not giving anything, means the XML package is installed in your R. If it is not installed, then it will display that XML package is not associated with R. Then I have to go for installing packages, and I need to install that XML package. So please remember that it seems to be very simple why I need this many type of packages. But when you want to write uh, program, you need to download the required packages and install them. So like in your C, where you are using header files, stdio.h, like that. So in your R, you need to download the required package to read or import some kind of data sets. So in this particular case, and if I want to read XML file, I need a library package called as XML. So the data frame can be read by using the command XML to data frame. XML to data frame. Suppose if I want to read your test data as a table, then you have to use the command read dot table, right? And Excel file already you know, read underscore Excel, you can use it, or read XLS, you can use it. So for Excel file there are different packages, you can try it out. In some cases you are using read.xl, in some cases you are using read underscore Excel, in some cases you are using read.xlss. So I am giving this one as an exercise. Use your R to install different packages to read same Excel file. Okay. So thank you. Uh, uh, this is about
Right.
a data session.